Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you back here. We've got Anastasiia and Christine with us today to take a look at this next period of time as we move into Taurus season. Anastasiia will be sharing from the astrological perspective. Christine will be sharing from the human design perspective. And I get the lovely job of just asking questions and trying to make some connections here. Anastasiia, it's so good to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're just coming out, or just about to come out of Aries season. Tell us a little bit about what we might have been feeling.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, this Aries season could be a bit challenging because it was a season of eclipses and retrograde planets, retrograde Venus and retrograde Mercury. So we could feel the urge to rush into things, and we could also return to some projects that we put off earlier. I returned to a few projects I had put off, and some for months, some even for years. And even knowing this astrology, what astrology was suggesting, I still felt that Aries impulse, that urge to start fast
Mm.
and go and make things happen now. But having that awareness, knowing that what was happening in the sky, that it was suggesting to slow down and not to rush, it helped me. It helped me when my projects didn't just work like this. Yeah, that's I guess was the main idea of this season. How was it with you? How did it go by you, Lauren, Christine?
Yeah. I felt a lot of inner tension and this feeling like I needed to get things done, but nothing seemed to move as quick as I thought, which is pretty much my signature, but it felt intense during this period. On the other hand, I absolutely felt the support to finish things. There's not a doubt that there was the support to come back, to complete some projects and kind of make that sweep through like what's left undone before I want to move on. How about you, Christine?
Yeah, no, I totally experienced that. My projects, I was definitely like, oh my God, I have to do this thing. I've been talking about it forever. And then I would do it for like whatever, some pulsing time. And then I would like leave it completely. And then I would go back and do it, right? And I'm just like, what is wrong with me? But yeah, I had a lot of that. And also, like, I was just recognizing earlier today, like, in the human design mandala, we were in this period of the hexagram, the trigram, I'm sorry, of thunder, right? The arousing, right? So this energy through this Aries season has been this arousing, motivating energy in an almost like I think of it like a pulsing way, like a bolt of energy, like a bolt of lightning, right? In a thunderstorm, like it's there and then it's gone. And so we were in that section, and that section is also the last section of fully yang energy in the wheel for the year, right? And so it was interesting. I'm like, oh, this does kind of feel like this pushing, kind of making things happen energy, but yet I wasn't really making things happen. Right?
Yeah. That's interesting how we all differently lived through it, but we all reconnected to the idea of the period because Christine was trying to do something and returning to the same things, and Lauren was aligned with eclipses, trying to finish to get things done.
Yeah.
And I was returning to something from the past. So that shows us how differently we can live through the period that is the same for everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I have to share one more thing because as you're saying this, I kept saying, I feel like we're in Groundhog Day because I really don't feel energetically, and in the collective we move forward anywhere. There was a lot of commotion and a lot of noise, but nothing really moving this way or that way. And so in some ways, I felt like every day I'd get up and I'd be like, well, here we are. We're still here. Oh, here we are. And interesting, where I live, the weather didn't change. We were still getting snow last week. So it was even like the weather kept like, we're going to do this one more time. We're going to finish up another burst of winter. But I do already feel the shift changing. I mean, I could feel it this week, and particularly as we move to this next gate, I can feel things are lightening a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So shall we
Yeah.
go to the next season, to Taurus season that awaits? We've already covered the general overview of Taurus season in our last session, but it was so broad. So today I'd like to go a little deeper and to explore the month in more detail. And I would also like to introduce the moon to our sun transits, because the moon, she reflects the light of the sun. She's no less important than the sun, in some cases even more, especially if you are born at night, for example. Because we have these two lights, sun and moon rules the night. Besides the moon, she sets life's natural rhythm of expansion and contraction when we breathe in and breathe out. So each month, the moon moves from new to full and then back again. And during that journey, it mirrors the cycles within us. When we have the desire to begin on the new moon, and then the pressure to grow as it grows, and then the confrontation with reality at the full moon, and then eventually letting the things go by the end of the moon, of the month. Month comes also from the word month comes also from the moon. No wonder why. So the dates of new and full moons are very important to observe, and they each set a tone for half a month ahead. So I will speak about them today as well. They offer ways we can align ourselves with the natural rhythms. So I think it is really important. Shall I start, or do you want to add anything to the moon?
I would just say that the moon is a really interesting, heavenly body, especially, I mean, also from a human design perspective, right? Because it is doing like this sun transit that Lauren and I have been tracking through the 365 days, through all 64 gates. That's our goal, is to go through all four of them. The moon does that every month, right? And so it is an interesting thing for people to be able to pay attention to, right? Because the moon basically transits about two gates a day, right? So if you really are paying attention, you might be able to actually notice that energy in a much more short-term way, and in a much more cyclical way, because you get 12 times a year or 13 times a year to do it, right? So I think it can be a really interesting heavenly body to play around with, because it is so close to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, and the moon, why I felt this importance of the moon this time, the moon exalts in Taurus. It is a very important heavenly body for Taurus. So that's important. It's important in Taurus season and in Cancer season. Uh, it's always important, but during these months, it has more power. So that's why it should be taken into account. But yeah, let's return to our main hero, the sun. The sun moves into Taurus on the 19th of April. And it is strikingly important that as the sun moves into Taurus, it immediately enters a T-square configuration with Mars and Pluto. That means Mars and Pluto, they are in opposition, and the sun stands in between them. So this configuration will last almost until the end of April. So it's quite important, a long period. And it's a powerful moment for a few reasons. First, we are dealing here with planets in fixed signs. They all are in fixed signs: Mars, Pluto, and Sun. And these are the signs that resist change, and they want to hold their ground. And so all three want to hold something, but they want something different. The Sun in Taurus wants physical and quite egoistical stability. Mars in Leo wants expression and leadership. He wants to go courageously ahead. And Pluto, being Pluto as always, it wants dominance. So all three of them want to be main heroes and want to be leaders, and they're pulled in different directions and create conflicts between each other and create conflict between powers. So I believe it's a problematic time for those who hold leadership positions.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's also not only for them, but also for all of us. It's quite difficult to hold our status, our authority, our reputation. So it may be a challenging period for this. But most importantly, Pluto is a social planet. It's very far from us. It is not so important for individual, but it is much more it is much more influential, influencing. It influences more collective. His transits often reflect large-scale power shifts, and so we have to look at a bigger picture and to make a step back. Normally, the opposition between Mars and Pluto happens once every 2.5 years, and it's very fast. It's done in a few days. But this time, because of the Mars retrograde loop, it stretched across the 3 exact hits of a half a year. First was, and note these dates, was on November 3rd last year. The second was on January 3rd this year. And the third actually comes soon. It's April 27th, 26th, 27th, depending on which time zone you are. And think about what happened globally or nationally around early November and early January. And those who obtained power in November and January, they may face their biggest challenge now at the end of April and beginning of May. Because now in April, May, those events or tensions that started back then, they may reach a new stage, and these people may face resistance, and the conflicts may escalate. So I believe leaders or people in power may feel reinforced in their decisions and actions because they feel this support from the sun. They may have the reassurance that they can dictate their will to others. So the questions for us are you leading with clarity and intention, or are you slipping into control? Because it's important not to slip into control, not to answer, not to be coherent with Mars and Pluto in this way, because dictatorship energies, they might get you results now, but they could create backlash later.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you yourself are not in a leadership position, or you are, but you still encounter someone's authoritarian attitude from someone else, just don't fear it. And as I said last time during our last meeting, and I'll say it again, in April, May, if you cannot avoid conflict, then stand up for yourself, because it's time to be brave. It's time to resist those who are willing to oppress us. So this is this can be applied to the world, to the nations, to the societies of which we are a part of, and it can also affect us personally, because those energies usually create this feeling of unrest, unease, or even aggression. especially in public settings, in a crowd, because Pluto is about crowds, is about mass of people. And even if we are not directly involved in political or social life, we're still part of the crowd.
Mhm.
This emotional tone in large groups, it may feel
Yeah.
unstable. So my first recommendation is avoid joining crowds. It's important, and especially important not only physically, but also mentally. Because if you want to act on something meaningful, you should look at into yourself, not around for permission or
Mm,
applause, because the crowd will not give applause now. It
yeah.
will not support big groups of people may not support one, but should not look for their support. So we just need to do what we want to do. We do not need to belong to a group to succeed now.
Right.
If we look at the group, back at the group, and look what they say, then we may stop, and we may feel not enough courage to go forward.
Mhm.
And we may also lose confidence. So that's the important moment. And besides, these are very explosive and pressing energies. They're not easy to hold, but what we should keep in mind that they're not here to destroy. If
Right.
we treat them properly, they're here to transform us.
Mm.
They give us an opportunity to solve these long-lasting conflicts that couldn't solve in the previous months. And Also, let's remember that all of this is happening with the Sun in Taurus, and Taurus is Earth. And Earth teaches us that pressure creates form. So if you are being pressed, you can form something beautiful. This is a sculptural month. Just like the sculptor uses pressure to shape clay and stone. So I see here an invitation to use this moment to shape our inner world and not to escape, but rather to sculpt.
Yeah.
So that's the very important period from the 19th of April, and it lasts until the end of April. And it goes a little also to the beginning of May, but here we have another chapter.
I love this because it's interesting. Like I don't, because I was looking at Pluto and Mars from the human design perspective, and I'm like, I'm not really seeing it there. But what I do see actually dovetails really wonderfully into what you're talking about. What I do see is that from a human design perspective, Saturn and the North Node are conjoined essentially, right? They are in the exact same gate, exact same line number on the 21st-ish in that area. And then also Venus shows up in that space as well. So we have these three really large energies all in what, in this term, gate 36.5, right? So it's in gate 36, the gate of crisis, which everybody's like, oh, crisis. But it is this crisis is this energy for new experiences. It wants new experiences, right? And it's a collective energy. It wants so this whole collective, I think, has got this energy right now to give ourselves new experiences because the ones we've been getting, we don't like, right? So I really love that this is also, you were talking about the leaders, this energy very much talks about us, right? The people on the ground who are working, are willing now to work together to create new experiences for all of us. And the line name is actually the underground, right? Like it is about this underlying energy that's been sitting here and is now, I think, ready for some activation and in a really beautiful way, right? Like you said, it's an emotional energy. It wants more happiness and joy in the world. It doesn't want more, upheaval, right? And so I think this is really interesting that, and again, it's Venus, right? Venus is a lovely energy, right? And North Node, and this like, this is where we're going. This is the future. This is the direction we need to be heading in. And so all of those coming together, I thought was really interesting. Um, and just, just an interesting counter and also an interesting, support of what you were saying from just the other group of folks, you know.
That's wonderful what you brought up, that you brought up Venus, because that's what I wanted to add for this to
Yeah.
this period. It's really beautiful how it all works
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Because until the end of April, Venus remains near the North Node and the
Mhm.
Saturn, and it remains exalted in Pisces. So it's
Mm.
so beautiful, as you said, bright and sensitive and full of dreams and full of, I want something new, I want new experiences, I want to add something meaningful to this life.
Yep.
She's unfortunately slow and recovering from retrograde. So it's not that it's not such a fast way. It's
Yeah.
walking step by step. And it also works step by step with Saturn. And Saturn here, it gives this boundaries.
Yeah.
It sets the boundaries, and it also speaks about the form of
Mhm.
making the form of some dreams.
Mhm. Well, and it
So
forces some discipline too, right? Like this is what I was really liking. It's like, look, people, now is the time. Right?
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah, and it's also we have a direct. We can actually see Venus and Saturn now at the sky. And you can see how it is in the sky, and you can feel it how it goes here on Earth. Because if you look to the sky at dawn,
Mhm.
you'll see them together early
Mm.
morning, and you will see how Venus is glowing.
Mm.
She is so beautiful. She is so bright, and Saturn is quite dim. It's small and dim beside her, and this just shows this beauty with weight, with boundaries,
Mhm.
dreams with boundaries, and this inspiration shaped by discipline and responsibility. So it's the time when um, I believe it's the time of maturity, you know?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that our demands are not so harsh, but are softer because of Venus. The
Mhm.
demands of Saturn are softer, and at the same time, Venus is not so absolutely free. She's a bit disciplined by
Mm.
Saturn.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
I love listening to both of you, and the last statement you made, Anastasia, really rings true for me, this maturing, because I think that's what we're being called to do right now in a time where the leaders and the collective might not be doing the thing that's going to lead us forward. We're being called, and this is, I think there's a number of aspects that are about the individual and about us getting real clear on what we value and what's important, and not being led by the noise of others. We've had lots of time to think about it these last couple months with everything in retrograde, right? And now comes this period, but it's still, I think your point is it's not going to be fast. And
Mm.
I think so, thinking about how we will feel in that time, um, I think it would be really easy to get caught up in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and this mix of this conflicting and pressing energy from Mars and a lot of maturity from Venus and Saturn, it brings us to this point of the theme of ethics and values.
Mhm.
And hopefully ethics, values, and maturity prevails.
Mhm.
And at
Yes.
least we should try on our personal level, each of us. And
Mhm.
then we can change, because we are part of a crowd, but the crowd
Mhm.
consists of each of us.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's interesting. And what you're talking about, Lauren, is it's like, so this is a collective energy, right? This gate 36 that I was talking about. But it's interesting to me as I was preparing for this, almost all of Taurus season, all of the gates are individual
Mhm.
gates,
Mhm.
right? And so this tension between like, who am I and how do I fit into this collective, right? And how do I establish my boundaries and still be part of this bigger thing, right? I think is really something that this particular period of time is going to be a really strong space to pay attention to that, right? Again, because we're going to be so supported from a human design perspective with this individual energy, which is almost entirely an individual knowing, right? In our individual energies, these are our own inner knowings, and learning to really recognize them and be present with them and trust them, right? Like this is a great time, I think, it's, again, also we're in this kind of earth energy, this grounding energy in general in Taurus, and just being like, okay, I can be grounded in this thing that's about me, and I can learn to trust what my body is telling me, even though outside things might look crazy. Right?
Yeah. That speaks so, yeah, that's beautifully said.
Oh,
Because
thanks.
yeah, because this sun and the sun in Taurus, that's about individual stability, yeah, and about
Hmm.
what I am and what I have and what I do not want to share with others.
Hmm.
And then that's the point of who are these others and with whom I should melt, not melt, but mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
I think it's important to bring this up. I think we may already be seeing some different alliances within our own circles, and people
Mm.
that we might not have aligned with, suddenly we're drawn to them, and there might be new characters coming in. I'm seeing something like that going on in my own constellation of folks, um, and I think it's a good time to be curious about that. Like,
Mhm.
who are these people that are showing up and do they align with me? And who were these other people and do I still align with them?
Hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. As I was preparing, I was looking. So one thing we do in human design is we look at these transits and we look at how they interact in the body, right? And so sometimes some of these gates that are lit up actually light up specific things in the body. In this case, the one I'm talking about is April 23rd to towards the end of the, no, I'm sorry, like 26, I guess it's the 26th to like the 30th. There's like a 4 day period where inside of us are Jupiter lights up one gate, and Pluto, I'm sorry, Mercury lights up another, and those two gates make a channel, and it lights up our throat, which is our manifestation center, and our heart, right, which is our value and worth in the world. And so everybody on the planet for
Cool.
this, 4 day period, right, is going to have this energy of like their heart and their throat being lit up and energized, right? And so I think it's interesting also to be able to see this in our body graph and recognize like, oh, the whole planet is going to have all of a sudden literally this manifestation energy. It's all about resources, right? How do we use our resources correctly? And so, again, like I think at the end of the month, we have this other question coming up. How are we using the resources that are available to us, right? Are we going to keep giving our resources to people who clearly have more than enough already, right? Or not, right? And I think this question is going to come up for us as a planet because these energies are lit up in everyone.
Mhm. And is this channel mostly about resources, or is it because it's manifestation and throat? Is it also about verbalizing and speaking up?
Yes, it's both of those things. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And this heart energy to the throat, right? The ability to communicate what's of value or not. Also very true. Yeah, I didn't say
Yeah.
that. Thanks.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting because yeah, not in April, but I will tell something about the throat and what we
Mhm.
may feel, and this could be what we feel in this area in jaw, throat, and shoulders. It's also connected to Taurus. Maybe a sign of where we are going, if we are going to the right direction, in the right direction, or in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting that it starts already in April by
Yeah.
human design. Yeah, well. Sun is in Taurus then, anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so near the end of April, we also have this new moon that I think can beautifully help us to concentrate and to individualize all these big topics. Because new moons, this new moon is one of the more compressed and emotionally heavy new moons of the year. It's not easy because of this Mars and Pluto confrontation, and not easy because Venus is still walking with Saturn. It's not an easy walk, not a light, a playful new moon. But it is about slowness. It is such a slow seed that we plant in soil. And the soil is turned by this pressure, and it will bear fruits, but not immediately. So the day, I believe that the new moon day is very important for everyone, regardless of which natal chart you have. And at this time, we may feel a longing to return to something simple and grounded. And it's a good moment, even though the sun enters Taurus on the 19th of April, it's a good moment to reconnect to the Taurus energies on the 27th of April when the new moon opens the new chapter. So Taurus wants everything simple and grounded. And we may feel this need for security, financial, in relationships or emotional. But we may also fear around how to claim it. That's why I ask if this manifestation channel opens us up, if we can actually claim what we need. And it can be also important to understand and to define what enough means to each of us. Do I have enough? Is it enough? Maybe I have too much. And to say stop is also very important here. So this is a time to ask, like a practice for this new moon, what do I truly value? Do I have enough? Where is my enough? When will I reach this enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great time to take care of one's physical space. Just it's a good idea to spend some time on the 27th just to arrange everything how you like around you. And so set small, real intentions around your daily rhythm. Again, something simple, and it will then unfold into something bigger. And if one wants, if you want to begin anything in this new moon, I cannot actually recommend to start anything on the day of this new moon. Wait at least till April 28th, at least till the next day. And then if you start anything, start small and start slow. A practice, a project, a commitment to your own peace. It's important to start slow because this is a moon of substance, grounded moon, and not of speed. So don't rush this planting. That's how I see it. And then on April 30th, Venus shifts into Aries, and that's absolutely a new chapter that starts. There she is no longer constrained by Saturn, but she enters the territory of Mars. So from this point, the tone changes from thoughtful to instinctive, from restrained to bold. And we may become more assertive and raw and faster as well. But we may also become and should be striving to become more creative because Venus and Mars will be both in the signs of fire, and fire is about creativity, is about inventing something absolutely new that nobody had seen before. So it's the time of creativity and proactivity. I believe emotions may become quicker and we may feel more passion in what we are doing. So it's Venus in Aries is not in her best position, but with the help of Mars, and he actually helps her this time. It may give us some opportunities to reach our goals. Not just like this, not very fast, but still it's about moving forward. And it's also about acting on what matters, because wherever Venus is, she wants values. She wants that you do what really matters. And Venus is so important now because the Sun is in Taurus, in the sign of Venus. That's why we are talking so much about it now. So yeah, I believe this at least the first 10 days of May, they are about going further and letting yourself play. It's not that it may be not that easy because this Mars Pluto opposition it's there for a long time, but still, if we give ourselves some space, some freedom to do something that we didn't do before, that we haven't done before, we can experiment. Yeah, so that's an important part of it.
Well, it's interesting because from a human design perspective, Venus is going to enter gate 25 at that point, right? And 25 is also very shortly thereafter. Saturn will be in gate 25, and then Neptune is already in gate 25. And gate 25 in the human design body graph is in the identity center, right? It's in this place of this higher knowing and higher self, the higher self, right? And it's a really beautiful energy. It is the line name, I mean, the gate name is Innocence, right?
Mm.
And so I think about this energy, especially with Neptune in 25 for so long, right? This, I feel like what I was talking about before with this energy in the gate 36 to transmute something for new experiences. I feel like this gate 25 energy is very much trying to push us as a collective into a more innocent way of being, right? Being more, like you said, playful, allowing ourselves to return to the humanity that we have in so many ways gotten so far from, right? And so I think about, and then, with Saturn for a little while, again, there's this discipline, like, you guys gotta be nicer to one another. Right? You got to be nicer to yourselves and you got to be nicer to each other, right? And I think that 25 energy to me is such a beautiful, exciting energy. I don't know enough about the astrology, but I do feel like, again, in Venus, right? Like it's just lovely. And so innocence in Venus to me sounds amazing for the beginning of May.
Mhm. Yeah, that's innocence and playfulness and childhoodness,
Yeah.
childness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it sounds like a lot of the energy of the beginner mind too, of
Hmm.
seeing things with new eyes, and
Hmm.
and children will take risks and try things that they wouldn't ordinarily try. They also would experiment and not be afraid of making mistakes. And that's what is coming up for me as I listen to you too, that we lose this worry about what I might look like or what others might say or think.
Yeah.
But to just try something
Yeah.
new.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about the difference between childish and childlike,
Yeah.
right? Like we have been very childish for many, many years, right? We are very childish. And I think this energy is saying, hey, you could be childlike, right? That's a much more beautiful energy.
Yeah, that's it's beautiful. Yeah. Um,
I have one more question about that because the word explore comes up. Might this also be a time for folks to explore some new ideas, new philosophies, new ways of being, or because of Taurus, is it more of an earth related exploration?
I'd say that of all the Taurus season, the most explore explorational period is this from 30th of April till 10th of May, because at this time Venus is in Aries.
Yeah.
That's about going
Ew.
forward.
Yeah.
Mars is for the entire period in Leo. Leo is also the fire sign, and Mercury is also in Aries at that time. So we have three important personal planets there. It's only the Sun that is in Taurus, and the rest are in this fire, playful, and yeah, exploration. I think it's a good idea. The only thing that we should remember that all this Mercury and Venus, they are in Aries, and they're so happy that they're out of retrograde, and they're they're moving faster. Then they want us to move and think and communicate more, and it's perfect. But we should understand that it shouldn't unfold so fast. It's try and trial and error. Trial and error period. You try, you make an error, you make some conclusions, and then you reconsider your approach. Maybe it's okay to make mistakes at this time, but it's not. This period does not suggest that it will develop fast, because the Sun wants this ground, solid ground. And when you try something, you're not in the solid ground. You have to go up. You have to fly. You have to forget about the grounds for a while. And only after trial you can return to the ground and then make something solid out of it. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I would say also, I think if we just look at the sun energies and we just look at the sun gates, they're all, like I said, they're all very individual, right? Their mutation, the one tribal gate we have is caring, which is very much about, caring for ourselves and others. And then we have these inspiration gates and creativity gates, right? And they're all very much near this higher self in our body, right? So from my perspective, I think this month looks like an amazing time because again, our individual energies are here for our self-empowerment, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to empower ourselves so that we can be an example to others of what self-empowerment looks like, right? And so I think from that perspective, yeah, go for it. Experiment and explore.
Yeah. But on May 10th, Mercury switches signs. It changes signs and it co-joins the Sun in Taurus. So then we will have this grounded thoughts, more we will mentally strive for more stability. And it will not be the time of ideas and trials, but rather how do I do it now practically? How do I implement this? So from this perspective, the time after May 10th is better for us to slow down, to ground, and to feel more stability. It is quite difficult in terms of managing thought and action, because from May 12th till May 19th, Mercury will meet Mars. And it will meet Mars in a square, in a difficult aspect. So it will mean that we will not exactly understand what comes first, action or thought. And we will have to think before reacting. So I think it's a call to mindfulness, to when you have to think before reacting and breathe before responding, and put your grounded thought first and then act. So in one way, it's a better time for practical things and for implementing practical plans. From the other side, it may be a bit irritable time when I feel irritated because we have this internal conflicts, because our minds, our Mercury want peace, but our action Mars wants drama. it wants to be seen, and it wants to be noticed, and it wants to act. The more the better. So we should strive for this balance in this second decade of May.
So that really is interesting to me because that period, May 9th to the 14th, the sun is going to be in gate 23. And it's one of the few gates in the year that actually the Earth position is the energy that creates the whole channel, right? So there's a few places in the year that that happens. And so that channel is the channel of structuring. It is from our ajna to our throat. And so this ability to speak our mind is on for everybody on the planet, right? And it's fascinating what you were just saying because I'm like, I think people are going to have the energy to actually want to move fast. So you're like, no, you should slow down. But from a human design perspective, I think there's going to be this push to actually, again, because this channel is known for its inspirations, right? Like things just drop in, like you have no idea where that came from, and then you feel like this incredible urge to like say it out loud, and then people are like, either people are like, oh my God, that's a huge insight, or they're like, wow, that was, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. It's literally called the genius to freak channel, right? Because you could become, somebody think you're a genius, and other people will be like, that person is a crazy person, right? And so that energy is on for everybody in that time period. So I don't know how that's going to play out.
That's a good analogy with the genius to freak, because that's exactly what can happen with the Mars square Mercury, because you can win or you can lose. You can we with this square we do have this urge to act. We do have this urge to speak up and say whatever we want to say, but we should also not remember that sometimes when we are Mars and Mercury, it's about quarrels, it's about fights and verbal fights as well. So when we should watch out what we are saying.
Yeah.
We have this urge to speak up and to speak fast and to act fast, but where does it lead us?
Yeah.
That's why I think that we should think about what we are doing.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing both of you correctly, there will be this energy there to say or speak our mind and not to hold back. And what I'm also hearing, given the alignments, that we need to be cautious with that and take a moment and not be so reactive. Yeah. Well, that seems like it's very good advice. And let's just recap the period that we're talking about, because I think that is going to be an important period of time. What are the dates?
From my perspective, it's May 9th to the 14th. It's right in that window.
So that's right, the gate 23
Yes.
dates.
Yes.
Okay. And from yours, Anastasiia?
From mine is from May 10th till May 19th. So it covers the next gate. And what's in the next gate, Christy?
The next gate is 8, which is also a throat energy, and at that point in time will be another global lit up throat for people, but this time from their identity center, right? So again, wanting to speak, wanting to manifest, but from this more vulnerable space of from your soul, from your own higher self, right? So yeah, there's going to be a long period there of this activated throat for everyone.
Well, it's really interesting coming out of this long period of everyone like trying to figure out what is going on, right? What is going on? And then we move into this period where we're evaluating how we feel and what we believe about it. And then we move into the next chapter of, well, let me talk about it now. Right. Yeah. So it's absolutely the progression there. Sounds like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You have put it so good, so well. Yeah, really. And from astrological perspective, I guess the middle of May is the most stirring. when we have full moon on May 12th, and when we have this exact square of Mars and Mercury. I think I didn't note it down, but I think it's 15th or 16th of May. So this right in the middle of May, it's the most drama, the biggest drama of the month. Yeah, and so the full moon is also, it's ruled by Mars, our drama hero. So we can expect these emotions to rise to the surface, and not just emotions, but also desires, fears, control patterns, because Mars is still within this control. And something within us wants to be seen, and it may not come out gently. It will come out, but not exactly gently. So yeah, around May 12th, some people feel full moons a little earlier, so it may be also May 11th. Some people feel it the next day, so it may be also May 13th. So these 3 days from 11th till 13th, it's the time when we may feel overwhelmed with this intensity. And this intensity can come out of us from within, and also from someone else. That we are involved in the quarrels or conflicts or harsh, or not harsh, but hot discussions about something because somebody else involved us, not because we wanted it, not because of our intentions. And this may make us vulnerable. This time is when we crave for emotional and physical intimacy. In full moons, we are always a little more vulnerable than in other days. And with this hot things going around, it may even increase. And yeah, and the important thing is that we should verbalize all of this. So it's good that we have this throat energy going. We can verbalize it. And practically during the time of full moon and the day before, day after, I would have recommended that we find a place, a time when we sit with our emotions without judging them, just fix what we feel and allow them to release. Even if it's tears, even if it's a cry out, it's also a good thing to release them. And it may be, because of this vulnerability, it may be a good idea to connect with someone we trust, someone with whom we don't have to think before we act. We can we can say everything we want, and then it will be easier for us to react to others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I think full moons, they're so important. They are usually, they do not require action. We may have an urge to act, and sometimes it is right to act, but they do not require an action. So when we have this urge, we should think, and if it's we should be honest with ourselves. Do we really want to act? Do we really have to act? Because during the full moon, the Earth is illuminated for 24 hours by the sun during the day and by the moon at night. The whole night we see the moon, and so all we need to do is just let this light fall where it needs to, and then we will see what we actually want, what we actually value, what we actually should do. Not just go and follow our instincts or someone's suggestions. So yeah, that's. I see that this the May 12th is like a peak point of the month, like when we have this all everything concentrated, and it goes when on the new moon on April 27th we should have grounded, and we should ground, and we should make small intentions, and by the time of full moon we will have this whole palette of emotions that we have to deal with.
Yeah, I would concur. There's a lot of creative energy coming up right around that full moon from a human design perspective. So I would say bask in that.
Yeah, and to summarize this month, we have these key dates, April 19th till April 27th. That's the opening pressure zone, when tension builds quickly, and we should remember that pressure is not about pressing, but about transforming and forming this shape. Then on April 26, 27, we have this exact opposition of Mars and Pluto. So this is the final confrontation in a series that began in the fall last year. So we may expect resolution, or at least some turning point to some long-lasting conflicts and confrontations with the authorities. On April 27, we have this new moon that focuses us on the ground and on slowness. And then April 30 till May 10th, Venus enters Aries, and Mercury still is in Aries. So we have this shift from softness to assertiveness, and a change from thinking, contemplating to experimenting. And then from May 9th, 10th till May 19th, till the next season, we have this time of Mercury in Taurus, conjoining Taurus, and this full moon ruled by Mars. So it's emotionally intense, and we have to speak up, but we have to think what we speak up, and observe how emotions are flowing. Yeah, so that's how I see the month. And yeah, what Christy has said before, that we should listen to our body, and really in Taurus season, it's just the main thing. When you don't do it normally, then do it at least this month. Yeah, because yeah, you want to add.
Yeah. Well, I would just say, I mean, I would say just in a quick summary that exactly that. Like this month from a human design perspective is offering so much support for you to notice your own individual power, right? The flavors of it are creativity, mutation, like changing things, transforming things. There's inspiration in this month, but all individual, right? So allowing yourself to really feel into that and to begin learning to trust it, right? Because it's here, you're here doing you in the only way that anybody can. And if you can't trust it, you can't be your truest self, right? And so I think this month is really all about supporting you in regaining that trust inside, in the inner knowing trust. Because again, the other energy we talked about, we are all part of a collective, right? That is also on a trajectory. And so we have to, in order to be part of that, we have to be grounded in ourselves first.
I'm so enjoying these recaps from both of you. And what I'm hearing is, to regain that trust, we're going to go through a process. And that process is going to involve listening to our bodies, but it's also going to involve some experimentation, some play, some getting out there and trying new things, and knowing our own mind. So, Christine, I thought you would take this opportunity to talk about our human, where our authority centers are in human design. I mean, this is such a wonderful time to practice that. Where do you feel it when something aligns with you? And is it, I know I have an emotional authority center that requires me to go through a couple waves. And so not responding right away. But there are some others that folks would need to know about.
Yeah, yeah. The three biggest are emotional, like you said. People, if you know your human design and you know your authority, your inner authority, if you're emotional, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is to slow down, no matter what season it is, right? Slow down, wait for your emotions to actually bring you clarity over time, right? The other big authority is this sacral. It's this traditional gut instinct, right? You have your body almost speaks to you. Yes, no, right? You may move, you may lean in, you may lean away, right? This sacral energy is very much the inner wisdom that you should be following, right? Like when you don't want to do something, you should say, I don't have the energy for that. But we don't. We're conditioned, right? So we often do things our body tells us isn't really right for us. A fairly large part of the population has splenic authority, right? And your spleen is very much very fast moving. Now, we all have all of these energies in us, right? And so we all are getting information from our bodies all the time. But each of us has a very specific part of our body that is our personal authority. And so if you have a splenic authority, you will may get embodied sensations. Like when you enter a room, you might get chills or something, something may tell you, hey, I don't want you, you should be out of this space, right? And so listening to those things. Um, yeah, and again, like this is what we're all trying to do, right? We're trying to practice, right? Listening to all of the different things. This is one of the reasons we're running this little experiment, right? Like what other awarenesses can we bring in to help us practice our own understanding of what's us and what's not, and how we can follow what's us and not follow what's not.
Yeah. Exactly. I just wanted to add, it's not exactly individual, but it is specific to this Taurus season, about what our body is telling us. That maybe it may be so that, and I've noted it already with clients and with friends and relatives when we discussed this, that throughout the year, these body parts can change, which ones are speaking to us.
Yeah.
So in this time, the wrong choices or decisions may show up as a tightness
Mm.
in this area that we already noted, the neck and jaw and shoulders. And some may also feel pressure in the chest. That's because of Mars in Leo. And some may feel emotionally overwhelmed or experiencing just total burnout. That's because of this Mercury and Mars, mostly in May. So all these, if you feel this, if you notice, these are bold signals during this time to stop
Mm.
and to reconsider your intentions.
Mm.
That's just, are you going the right way?
Yeah, I love that.
Well, that's really the question, isn't it? That we face every day. Are we going the right way? And both of you have given such beautiful tools to help us understand the energies that are available for us in each of these periods. Is there anything in closing from you, Christine?
No, just go be yourself.
Yeah. And how about you, Anastasia?
Um, I would say that, remember that Taurus reminds us that stillness is not a failure,
Mm.
that
Um,
it's also something we don't have to be and to feel amazing this month. We just, when we are just still and when we are present, it's already enough. It's
Yeah,
already good.
I love
That's,
that.
yeah.
lovely. Thank you both so much.
Yeah, thank you.